Hey guys, welcome to another episode of TFG Tackles. If you're wondering why we're coming to you on Thursday instead of a Friday, it's because both me and Kevin will be traveling, but there's too much going on all over the country in Indian football for us to miss the chance to bring you this show this week. So let's get into it. Stuff is happening in Kolkata. The East Bengal and Mohun Bagan clubs both are dealing with their own issues. Meanwhile, in Kochi, there's another major issue unfolding where the fans are coming together from different clubs across loyalties to try and save the Kochi turf. And Chennai City are also making their own moves in the transfer market, signing two really good coaches, preparing for the next season. And Indian national team is assembling in Mumbai. They're going to prepare before they go over to Kyrgyzstan to play the last Asian Cup qualifier. Kevin, interesting times.
Yeah, Indian football is never short of action. Even if you don't see anything on screen, you definitely should be sure that off the field, a lot of things are brewing. And here we have this is why we have a show, because it's just not on-field football action that we're talking about. A lot of things happening at different ends of the pitch. But Chiranjit, you mentioned Kolkata. Why are we mentioning Kolkata? Is something good happening there? Because you never have some positive news coming out of there. Either there are some riots going on, either there are some protests going on. So is there something good news for anybody?
Well, that depends on who you ask. If you are somebody who wants East Bengal and Mohun Bagan clubs to change and adopt a new way of governing the system so that they become more modern and more compatible with professional football in the 21st century, then there is a little bit of a good news. The Bosu Mitra alliance that's been ruling over Mohun Bagan for more than 20 years, it's split. It looks like Srinjoy Bose and Debashish Datta are going to challenge Anjan Mitra, who's the club secretary right now, in an upcoming election. The two sides are escalating a war of words, and it's the first time in years that we're going to have a real fight on our hands come the club elections, and that's going to decide whether the club will decide to go into ISL or how they will shape themselves for the future, whether they will bring in corporate sponsorship or try to manage as they are doing right now, which many supporters feel is not adequate at all. East Bengal are having their own problem, by the way. They just made a new signing, Khalid Auchu, but one Khalid came in and it seems like another Khalid went out. Khalid Jamil has not turned up as of Wednesday to the East Bengal practice sessions. And this happened following Subhash Bhaumik, the veteran Indian coach, was appointed as a technical director by the East Bengal club. De facto, a guardian that will preside over what Khalid Jamil is doing. And Khalid Jamil, although he did not let on, it was pretty clear by his body language when he was talking to the press that he was not 100% comfortable with it. There were attempts from East Bengal officials to sort of oversee him before. He did not like that. He has not liked it this time either. From Khalid, what we're hearing is that he's got some family issues. Somebody in his family is sick. He may go to Mumbai to attend and be with them. But as things stand, it's Subhash Bhaumik who's doing the practice sessions for East Bengal as the club prepares for the Super Cup. And there was some problem, on Wednesday morning. There was some scuffle between Gurvinder and Dudu Magbemi during the practice session. They just got into a fight. Apparently, they pushed each other. Others rushed in to separate them. So a lot of stuff is happening at East Bengal, and it looks like Khalid Jamil, after doing so well at Aizawl FC, almost getting East Bengal to the title this season, but falling just short on the last day. It seems like he's finally over his head.
There's something about these Kolkata clubs, which it has the fans divided always. Every fan group will have their say in this. But for a neutral, I don't think this makes not too much sense at the moment, because you want to see football, you want to be the on-field action is what is most important to you. These are things that are happening behind closed doors, and they do raise their ugly head at times. But all in all, I think everybody wants to see some good fighting performances, irrespective of the changes that are made at the back room. And it might be in a way that Khalid is deprived of some power, some authority, but it's all up to Khalid. If he's taken up this job, I think somewhere down the line he knew this could come along, and thankfully he still has his job. Even after the season is over, I-League was out of their grip, but wasn't in the last game of the season. But what we want to see is how these changes affect the on-field performance. Obviously, we know that this scenario is much different and much better than what it was last season during this time. Towards the end of the season, it was a very sour taste in everybody's mouth, because we knew that Trevor Morgan was it was not a very happy camp at that moment. But East Bengal were even not close to winning the I-League as they were this season. So let's hope that it's a stronger bond, that Subhash Bhomik comes along with his experience and adds value to what Khalid brings in. So hopefully it's good. It's a treat for the fans rather than anything that you can hope for.
Well, absolutely. Everybody wants these clubs to get their act together and join the Indian football mainstream, and take part in the process to take Indian football towards the future, towards a better future. But while these clubs are dealing with their own squabbles, who's sort of making steps towards the future? It's Jamshedpur FC. They are slowly gonna emerge, I think, as one of the major superpowers from the East India, and they have already started building their team for the next season. Farooq Chaudhary just got a contract extension. It's good to see that so many ISL teams are giving long-term contracts to players. You would remember that when ISL came along in 2014, suddenly the idea of 2-year, 3-year contracts just disappeared from Indian football, because I-League clubs and ISL teams were just making teams for the immediate season. And now that it has gone away, and now you don't have players playing in both leagues during different times during the season, everybody's locking down their own players, everybody's trying to get stability into the club, and Jamshedpur FC are taking steps towards that.
Chiranjit, I'd like to interrupt you. You did say Farooq Chaudhary, and you missed out the second player that has been retained, Sumit Pasi, and important. How does that skip your mind when you are talking about a national team probable who's currently part of the camp? Obviously, we'll delve into that into more detail in the later half of the show. But seriously, I'm surprised you missed out Sumit Pasi there.
Oh my God, Kevin, how could I forget Percy? He's the closest thing we have to Messi, alphabetically speaking. But it's good to see Jamshedpur FC doing a lot of signings, and which other club has been doing signings? It's Chennai City FC. They made 2 really important signings right after surviving relegation in the I-League season by the skin of their teeth, basically. So they brought in Muhammad Akbar bin Abdul Nawaz. He's from Singapore. He has been coaching in S League in Philippines top division as well, and he speaks Tamil, which is good because Chennai City have a lot of Tamil speaking players, local players in the squad. And the other appointment is the new director of youth. His name is Jordi Villa. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. Villa. He's been a technical scout for Manchester City, Barcelona for many years. He was also working in Philippines, and now they have come in both together in a way with the goal to work together to take Chennai City FC towards a better future.
Yeah, definitely. First entrance of foreign coaches here for Chennai City FC. They will be entering their 3rd season at top division. Thankfully, they are still there. They managed to survive relegation. V. Soundarajan was in charge of the team last season. I think they had a pretty decent run. And prior to that, again, it was Robin Charles, I think, if I can get the name correct. So this is the first time they do have a duo in foreigners at the top level. So hopefully this is a great vision from the club, and it shows you that they are in for a long term. Or they also talk about having a coaching academy set up They did get into Coimbatore, having a new stadium to themselves. These are signs that they are here to stay, and this is good for somebody who's aspiring to be part of Chennai City FC, looking at the commitments and these are strong steps taken, long, big leaps towards having a future in Indian football, and I think I hope many new clubs can follow this route as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And earlier this season also they had this major partnership with FC Hercules that they announced, which was to set up grassroots centers throughout the state of Tamil Nadu. They're going to build a new academy near Chennai. There's a new stadium that they're constructing that they will go back to after they spent 5 years in Coimbatore. So that stadium is also getting a facelift, thanks to having a top division club over there. It's looking good for Tamil Nadu football. Chennai FC won the ISL, Chennai City FC avoided relegation, and now they're working towards developing football in Tamil Nadu together, hopefully.
Yeah, Chiranjit, I think this is well connected to the same point that we made during the review of the I-League, and many teams we talked about, especially Chennai City. They did have that scare till the end, and that's when you know what you can sink into. It gets you the best out of yourself, and this is again a vision that Rohit Ramesh and many passionate owners who have inbuilt in them to know that there is a future for Indian football, and if you want to stay at the top, you have to compete to be the best. It does not really give you any reward if you're mediocre or even lurking around the relegation zone for most of the time. So I think these are great steps taken. This is hopefully turning out to be a great future for Chennai City.
Absolutely, and there's something very interesting unfolding near Chennai. You don't have to go very far. In Kochi, the fans of different clubs are coming together to save the turf. What's happening is that BCCI has decided to put some match between India and West Indies at some point in October and November. They want to hold that in Kochi. Apparently, the original intention was to have it in Trivandrum, where BCCI has already taken that stadium on a lease, but they don't want to do it there. They want to do it in Kochi now. Remember, that's during the season. We don't know whether there will be an ISL I-League running simultaneously, or we're going to have a restructuring and it will be ISL League 1, League 2. Doesn't matter. The leagues will start in September and it's going to go on till March. So they want to do a cricket match at the middle of the football season in Kochi, and for that they're going to dig up the turf, the newly laid turf that was installed for the Under-17 World Cup, one of the best turfs, natural turfs in the country. They're going to dig it up and put a cricket pitch in the middle of it. And the fans are not having any of it. The fans of various clubs are coming together online, protesting it. Hashtag save the turf, save Kochi turf is, trending all over the place. And you have actors, footballers, politicians, everybody is tuning in and making their voice heard on this matter. It's just looking like a grassroots online movement that's building up, and they're even talking about holding protests to stop this.
As of now, everything is working online, and I think it's great to see all fan clubs, everybody with one cause coming together. It really shows one concern that one sport should not live at the expense of the other's loss, and that's exactly what's happening. When you already have a stadium in place, why do you want to disrupt something which is a rarity? India did get to host the World Cup, and that it took a lot of pains to have that pitch laid there, and it was a brilliant pitch. Obviously, we saw it on screen, and so at the moment we got to know about the cricket match being held, possibly being held over there. Especially fans around Kerala did object to it, and they called for action from everybody, and everyone did pay heed to that and joined in. And that really shows even sporting figures joined in the protest. Obviously, it's an online protest, and the hashtag started trending, and everybody got their attention towards this cause. And it's not something that is required for any federation to have it in a stadium, where it's more vital to have a country that's been resounded by success in a football tournament. It's like throwing away all the hard work being done. When you have a pitch that's certified, it's not that once you have the cricket match over there, you will not be able to play football anymore. It's going to be having a lasting effect for some, at least a month or so, that you really don't want to disrupt a calendar which is well settled. Obviously, we are looking at in a sport which is developing and growing in popularity everywhere in the country, and this is just going to hamper that progress. So this understanding that the protests are going so well, it's getting the attention of the right people. I think we are moving to a proper cause, and it might be just a small victory for everybody that the match will eventually not be held there.
Absolutely, and what's remarkable is that we have Bengaluru FC and Kerala Blasters FC fans, together side by side in this matter. We have seen East Bengal Ultras support Manyapada in this. We have seen Chennai FC fans, Mohun Bagan fans, 5 or 6 Mohun Bagan fan groups, including Mariners at Bangalore and others who have come forward to support KBFC fans in this. It's great to see that the fans still have their heart together, after a long season with a lot of squabbles, lot of rivalry. But when it comes to protecting Indian football, protecting the infrastructure that we hold dear, we are all together and we can work together towards building a better future for Indian football, and not have it overtaken by something else, some other moneyed interests.
Yeah, this is a great culture that's building. You stand for one cause, and it's calling for everybody to be united for a reason that it's beneficial for everybody. It's when you want a fan base to be created, you want the sport to be growing, you want unity among the different the diversity of football fans as well, and I think it's a great support shown by lots of fan groups. I think it's spread across from the north. Even the Orange Army of Chennai City showed their solidarity and their support, that they are sticking by for this cause of not having used the Kochi Stadium for cricket. It just helps understand that this is a growing, a healthy culture that's happening in Indian football.
Well, hopefully the fans succeed, but the problem is apparently Kerala Cricket Association has the stadium in Kochi on a 30-year lease, and Kerala Blasters FC ownership are kind of helpless. They cannot say that they do not support this because they are on rented property right now. This is also another problem. I remember, as you would remember as well, back in 2013, IPL decided to host their opening ceremony at the Salt Lake Stadium. I mean, literally you need to do your song and dance thing in a football stadium. It was a tough season. The matches in Kolkata were moved to Kalyani, which did not have floodlights, so they were happening at 2 p.m. in March and April, that deadly heat. And everything was, so taxing. It was 2 hours train journey to go to the matches from Kolkata, and some people got sick. One elderly person, we thought he almost had a sunstroke, because it's not healthy to put fans in that position, to take away the stadium that's meant for football at the moment. Of course, Kochi is a round ground, and Kerala Cricket Association still owns it apparently for the next 3 decades. So we don't know how this is going to turn out. Maybe Kerala Blasters will have to concede the ground and make do with it. Maybe a football match moves to Trivandrum in the meantime. We don't know what will happen. It might even go to Kozhikode. So let's see how that turns out, and hopefully just common sense will prevail and they will not dig up that turf and just do the cricket match anywhere else. There's so many options available to BCCI. But of course, the reason we're doing this show a day earlier is because I'm going to Delhi tomorrow, and the reason I'm going to Delhi is because I intend to catch a flight from there all the way to Kyrgyzstan, where India will be playing the last Asian Cup qualifier. We played them at home. It was a very tough game for us, but we managed to win by 1-0 thanks to a brilliant goal by Sunil Chhetri. But Sunil is not going to be available for that match because of card issues. Eugene Sulingdo is also not there. It's going to be tough, but that's what you want. You want tough challenges to come towards the Blue Tigers right now, so that we can prove our worth, isn't it, Kevin?
Definitely, this is one game that even though it does not mean too much on the points for us, at least at the qualification, but it really stands out for one possibility that we should go back to the article that Chiranjit has put out. Everything is riding on us on this game for us to enter that pot 2. It's all eyes on that pot 2. We want to get into that to have a slightly favorable group in the Asian Cup. And it all depends on how we perform, and all 3 points is what we want to expect these 32 guys to go and get in for us, because we want to end the season on a high. We already the calendar year has been a great one for us, unbeaten in all the matches that we played, and let's end this qualifier on a very good note to get in all 3 points against a very good strong side.
I'm glad you raised the point about the pots. Of course, we are 13th in Asia in terms of FIFA rankings right now, and if we make it to top 12, we will be in the second pot of Asian Cup qualification, which will mean that there will be 2 lower ranked teams in our group than us. But let's just take a look at who's just below us in terms of FIFA rankings to see whether or not this makes sense. You take a look, you see Qatar, Oman, Vietnam, Turkmenistan, Kyrgyz Republic, Jordan, North Korea, Philippines, Tajikistan, Bahrain, Thailand. The list goes on. There is no way any of these teams are actually weaker than us on the pitch. That's just being brutally honest, right? So even if we win this match, and if we win, we will get into the pot 2. There's almost 80% chance that we will get a killer team in our group, which will impede our chances to go into the knockout stages of the Asian Cup. But that's 80%. If we do not win this, we will be in the pot 3, and there's 100% chance that there will be 2 killer teams in our group, and there will be almost no chance for us to go into the knockouts. So it's that 20% chance that we are fighting for. If we win, we will have a 20% extra chance of going into Asian Cup. Do you think that's motivation enough, Kevin?
It's motivation, obviously, and I think it's the reward of being unbeaten. And when you do get in the 3 points, it's a satisfactory psychological advantage that you have. And come what may, the draw is going to be exciting. Whoever is drawn into a group is obviously it's going to be a tough ask from us, because ranking at the moment, it might be favorable for a competitive group, but it does not guarantee any less easy group, because it's going to be fighting for all teams. Everybody wants to get into that knockout stages, go past the group stage, and India for a long time, I think we've been missing in that top flight of Asian football, and this is the closest that we've got in the recent past. So let's make the most of it. Come what way, whatever team we play, I think let's give it our best. The first 2 games will be important for us. We will obviously get into that when we have the draws out.
Yeah, the draw of lot to determine which team goes into which group, by the way, in Asian Cup is happening on 4th of May in Dubai. So may the 4th be with the Blue Tigers. But going into this match, given how tough it was to play them at home, now we're playing them away at Bishkek. Who do you think is favourite going into this game?
I think Kyrgyz Republic is outright favourite here for all possible reasons. Firstly, when they came to India, it wasn't that we dominated the match. We did get in that crucial goal. And we have to remind ourselves, it's that goal that we were able to score through Sunil Chhetri. And it was the best defending that I've seen India do for a very long time. So it acts as a trailer what we can expect from the away leg, and that's challenging in a way because the weather itself is not very kind again. We are not used to playing in such conditions. The extreme cold weather that we will be put to the test, and plus looking at the record that Kyrgyz Republic are coming in with, you don't want to face a side which is as equal to you, and they are hungry to get in that those lost 3 points against us. They will be wounded. They will be wanting to get the revenge back from us. So it's going to be a tough ask from us.
Yeah, it's a tough ask, especially with so many key players unavailable. But isn't it time we see this young Indian team be put through some tests as they are gearing up for the Champions Cup maybe in August? Then they have a SAF Championship in September. Both are trophies we want to win, and then we want to go and make an impact at the Asian Cup. And if we're going to prepare properly for those tournaments, we have to test ourselves in matches like this. More than anything else, it's a test of nerves, it's a test of show, spirit and guts, and how our young players perform in these adverse conditions that we're going to be playing in. So it's exciting, isn't it, Kevin? We have a very exciting and interesting away match coming up on 27th March. Then 31st March, we have the Super Cup main round starting, the round of 16. That's going to go on till April 20th. After a very dense season where most days we had 2-3 matches to watch in I-League and ISL, it seems like this season, this has been everything. It's everything a football fan could ask for.
So it's like a bonus for us, when you have the club action coming to an end, you will see the international team coming into the picture, the national team obviously. Let's not to forget, Chiranjit, Kyrgyz Republic will be playing one game in the qualifier just before they play India. So that's again all eyes on that. We will want to see how Kyrgyz Republic come all guns blazing against it's Myanmar that they'll be playing. It's the second and final game that they have, and this obviously turns out to be interesting because both teams are in that contention to get in that second spot closed. So this for Kyrgyz Republic, it's just adding pressure, and how they perform under this will give an idea how India, what India can expect out of their game against Kyrgyz Republic.
Yeah, some weird shit happened around that game, man. The game was supposed to happen earlier, but there was a group in Kyrgyzstan that was issuing threats against the Myanmar national team. It's tied to the Rohingya issue that's unfolding in Myanmar. So they are doing it now in a neutral venue, and the match is happening at 11:30 on Friday. That's tomorrow. Indian Standard Time. So go to thefangarage.com. We will be carrying a report of what unfolded in that match on our website because it's relevant to India's preparation for this one game.
All right, and yes, Chiranjit, obviously it sounds great to talk about pre-matches and hope the positive vibes that we have before the match is also lasting at the end of the final whistle as well. 3 points is all we hope for, and do tune in to more action. Chiranjit, back to you. Do have the Indian flag flying high at Kyrgyz Republic there.
Absolutely, Kevin. We'll try, but ultimately it comes down to our boys, how they perform over there. So if you're watching this on YouTube or Facebook, do give us a like, share, subscribe, and come back to us next week because a lot of stuff will be happening on this channel. Right now, I got a pack. So bye.